There are somewhere between 100 and 400 billion stars in our galaxy alone, and at least 2 trillion galaxies in the observable universe. Scientists now estimate there could be billions of potentially habitable planets in the Milky Way alone. So here's the question that quietly terrified one of the greatest physicists of the 20th century. If the universe is this big, this old, and this full of opportunity for life, where is everybody? This isn't science fiction. It's a real, unsolved problem in physics. And today, you're going to hear the answers that scientists take seriously, including the ones that are genuinely unsettling. In 1950, physicist Enrico Fermi was having a casual lunch with colleagues, joking about recent UFO reports. Then, seemingly out of nowhere, he asked a simple question. Where is everybody? It wasn't a joke. Fermi had just done rough math in his head, and the numbers didn't make sense. Given the age and size of the universe, even if intelligent life were rare, and even if interstellar travel were slow, civilizations should have had more than enough time to spread across the entire galaxy by now. Some calculations suggest that even traveling at a small fraction of the speed of light, a civilization could colonize an entire galaxy in just a few million years, a blink of an eye compared to the age of the universe. And yet we see nothing. No signals, no probes, no evidence of anyone anywhere. That gap between it should have happened already, and we see zero evidence of it, is the Fermi Paradox. A few years earlier, a similar idea was formalized by astronomer Frank Drake. In what's now called the Drake Equation, a formula that tries to estimate the number of communicating civilizations in our galaxy, based on factors like the rate of star formation, the fraction of stars with planets, and the fraction of those planets that could develop intelligent life. The frustrating part of the Drake equation is that almost every variable in it is still a rough guess, depending on which numbers you plug in. You can calculate anywhere from "we're likely alone" to "there should be thousands of civilizations in our galaxy right now." Since the 1960s, projects like SETI, the search for extraterrestrial intelligence, have pointed radio telescopes at the sky, listening for any signal that couldn't be explained by natural causes. Decades of listening, and so far, silence. Scientists call this the Great Silence, and it's exactly as unsettling as it sounds. One possible answer: maybe life itself is common, but complex, intelligent life is incredibly rare. Earth had to get an enormous number of things right at the same time: a stable star, a planet at the exact right distance for liquid water, a large moon stabilizing our axial tilt, a magnetic field protecting us from radiation, plate tectonics recycling nutrients, and roughly 4 billion years of uninterrupted evolutionary time without a planet-sterilizing catastrophe. Change almost any single one of those conditions, and complex life might never emerge at all. Under this hypothesis, simple microbial life could be scattered throughout the universe, but something as complex as a brain capable of asking, "Where is everybody?" might be staggeringly rare. We might not be looking for a needle in a haystack. We might be the needle. Consider just one of those conditions: our moon. It's unusually large compared to Earth, likely formed billions of years ago when a Mars-sized object collided with our young planet. That collision left us with a moon large enough to stabilize our axial tilt over billions of years, preventing the kind of chaotic climate swings that could otherwise sterilize a planet's surface repeatedly. Most rocky planets we've discovered so far don't have anything like it. If that one collision, billions of years ago, had happened at a slightly different angle or not at all, the entire trajectory of life on Earth might have looked completely different, or never stabilized enough to produce anything intelligent at all. This is the hypothesis that unsettles scientists the most. The idea is that somewhere along the path from simple chemistry to a civilization capable of colonizing other star systems, there exists at least one filter, an evolutionary step so difficult or so dangerous that almost nothing ever gets past it. And here's the terrifying part. We don't know if that filter is behind us or ahead of us. If it's behind us, if the near-impossible step was something like the origin of life itself, or the jump from simple to complex cells, then we got impossibly lucky. And the rest of the universe might genuinely be empty. But if the filter is ahead of us, it means every civilization that reaches our level of technology eventually destroys itself, or gets destroyed before it can spread to the stars. Nuclear war, engineered pandemics, runaway artificial intelligence, climate collapse. Some barrier so consistent, so universal, that it has stopped every single civilization that came before us from ever leaving a trace. We would have no way of knowing which version is true until it's already too late to do anything about it. There's a related idea, based on something called von Neumann probes, theoretical self-replicating machines that could travel to a star system, use local resources to build copies of themselves, and then send those copies onward to the next star. Mathematically, a civilization using this kind of technology could spread across an entire galaxy in just a few million years, even without exceeding the speed of light. The fact that we've never detected a single one of these probes, not one signal, not one artifact, not one piece of alien hardware drifting through our solar system, is, to some scientists, one of the strongest versions of the entire paradox. If self-replicating exploration is even possible, and if any civilization anywhere had a head start of even a few million years, the galaxy should already be full of them. There's another angle scientists have used to search for advanced civilizations. Instead of listening for radio signals, look for their engineering. Physicist Nikolai Kardashev proposed a scale for measuring civilizations by how much energy they harness. A Type 1 civilization uses all the energy available on its home planet. A Type 2 harnesses the entire energy output of its star, potentially using a hypothetical structure called a Dyson sphere, a shell of solar collectors surrounding an entire star. A Type 3 civilization would harness the energy of an entire galaxy. By comparison, humanity today doesn't even qualify as a full Type 1 civilization yet. But here's the search strategy. A Type 2 or Type 3 civilization should, in theory, leave a detectable signature, a star with unusual light patterns, dimming in ways that don't match any known natural phenomenon, or entire galaxies emitting more infrared waste heat than stars alone could explain. Astronomers have actually searched for this. Surveys covering millions of galaxies have looked for any signature consistent with a Type 3 civilization harvesting a galaxy's starlight. They've found nothing, not one confirmed candidate in millions of galaxies observed. Either such advanced civilizations are exceedingly rare, or something stops civilizations from ever reaching that scale in the first place. A stranger, less bleak idea. Maybe we're not alone, and maybe they know exactly where we are, they're just choosing not to interfere. Under the zoo hypothesis, advanced civilizations may deliberately avoid contact with less developed ones, similar to how conservationists observe animals in the wild without interfering with their natural development. Under this theory, Earth could be sitting inside something like a cosmic nature reserve, observed, cataloged and left alone, specifically until we reach some threshold of development they're waiting for. It's unprovable, mostly unfalsifiable, and deeply unsettling in its own quiet way. Not because we're alone, because we might not be, and simply not important enough yet to be spoken to. This is the darkest answer, popularized by physicist-inspired science fiction, but taken seriously as a real strategic possibility by some researchers. The idea, the universe is silent not because life is rare, but because it's dangerous to be loud. If any civilization broadcasting its location risks being discovered by something far older, far more advanced, and potentially hostile, with no way to know their intentions until it's too late, then the safest strategy for every single civilization is the same. Stay silent, stay hidden, and never announce yourself. Under this theory, the universe isn't empty. It's full of civilizations, all doing exactly what we quietly started doing decades ago. Listening but no longer shouting into the dark. It would explain the silence perfectly. It's also the explanation most scientists hope isn't the correct one. And this brings up an uncomfortable historical footnote. In 1974, scientists broadcast a message from the Arecibo radio telescope, deliberately aimed at a distant star cluster, containing basic information about humanity, our DNA, our solar system, and our location. It won't arrive for another 21,000 years. At the time, it felt like a hopeful, symbolic gesture. Under the dark forest hypothesis, it's the exact opposite. Potentially the most dangerous single message our species has ever sent. Nobody knows which of these answers is correct. Maybe none of them are. Maybe the true answer is something we haven't even thought of yet, some combination of a rare earth, a filter we haven't reached, and civilizations quietly staying silent. All happening at once. But here's what makes the Fermi Paradox different from most scientific mysteries. This isn't a question we can outsource to future generations to solve slowly, one experiment at a time. Every year we survive, expand, and keep listening is, in its own small way, a piece of evidence for one hypothesis and against the others. We are right now living inside the experiment. Fermi asked one simple question over lunch in 1950, and more than 70 years later, we still don't have an answer. Maybe that's the most honest thing science can say about the universe. It's vast enough to contain everyone imaginable, and silent enough that we still don't know if anyone's actually there. Beyond the visible, beyond what you can see, but never beyond what you can understand. Subscribe because next time we go beyond again.